So in this video, I want to talk about how to avoid massive losses in Pokemon investing. Now, taking this title as verbatim is not really what I'm trying to get at here because generally in this Pokemon investing space, I mean, what we've seen with history, over time things appreciate. So I'm not trying to say you're gonna ever really see massive losses in Pokemon investing. I mean, you can in a short period of time depending on what price point you invest into something, but that's not really what I'm trying to get at in this video. I'm trying to talk about setting yourself up for success when the time inevitably comes when this bull market sees an end, because it's going to happen, guys. I'm not delusional. This is not going to last forever. This is not the new normal. It's not. We're not going to. The new normal isn't $300 booster boxes out the gate for eternity. It's not going to happen. Okay. So I'm trying to get at in this video, setting yourself up for success when the market sees a downturn. And that's something that I think a lot of people need to hear and understand because, we've been in this whole bull market for like a year now. Things are super liquid, everything's going up. What happens when that time actually ends? That's what I'm trying to get at here. And big thing we're going to be talking about in this video is liquidity. So, investing. There's really no right or wrong way to invest. It's all pretty subjective. Obviously, there's some, baseline rules I think everyone sort of follows and understands. But there's a thing with investing in general, diversifying. You guys know about diversifying, buying a little bit of things here and there, buying a plethora of different things to average, your risk and all this stuff. Everyone knows that, right? But here's the thing. Yes, traditional investing and the stock market stuff. I mean, this is not a finance channel really. But yeah, diversifying. We don't know what's going to happen. You don't know anything about the companies. You diversify by an ETF. We all know this about general just traditional investing. But speaking with Pokemon, I don't really believe in diversifying. I honestly just don't. This is not stocks. I've talked about it before. It's not stocks. It's not like, oh, we don't know what these companies are doing. We don't know anything about them. This is Pokemon, guys. It's totally different, and I truly don't believe in diversifying with Pokemon. I just don't. And that's just an opinion. I'm not saying that's fact, right? But I don't believe in diversifying. I truly believe Pokemon as an alternative investment, and knowing about Pokemon, about this space and why things are more expensive than other things, why things are more popular than other things. I truly feel like diversifying is not really the best way to go. And obviously, this is subjective, and some people maybe have bad taste. Maybe some people don't really know what's popular, and therefore maybe they invest in all the wrong stuff by just not diversifying, and they do worse than if they were to diversify. That can happen. But what I'm trying to get at here is this: in the event of a downturn of the market, investing into sets that right now are doing okay, like for example, let's pick a set that's not that good right now. Very good is Shrouded Fable. What I'm trying to get at is, okay, buying bad sets or buying sets that are not as popular, when it comes time for a downturn in the market, that product is not going to be very liquid, and therefore if you need to sell for cash, you're not going to be able to really get full market price by selling a large quantity. Unless you want to sell at market price, it's going to take a long time to sell, and it's just going to be a struggle, and those products are more likely to see downturns and more higher declines than products that are more sought after, they're more high flying. And that goes back to my statement that I'm trying to say here, is that I don't really diversify. I pick high flying, high demand, high value sets, and that's sort of what I've always sort of done. It's more than ever now, but I've never had this mindset that I need to buy a little bit of everything just because I need to diversify. In my opinion, in Pokemon, it's just not even smart to do that way, to invest that way. But obviously you can do what you want, but that's just not what I do, because I truly believe this space is pretty predictable with what's going to perform better than others generally. And that's just my perspective, how it's always been. And the big reason why I always invest, or now especially, into high flying, high demand sets, is because I know when the market sees inevitably a downturn and there's cool off, the high flying, high value, high demand sets, those ones usually are a lot more resistant to price declines and sales volume drops than than products that aren't as popular. For example, Shrouded Fable. And I truly feel like investing into the popular high flying sets that people want in going into a downturn market, you are setting yourself up for better success in the event you need to sell something in the downturn market. And I want to give a perfect example of this with Evolving Skies and bringing that on to Scarlet and Violet, talking about Prismatic Evolutions. So Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies. If you guys were not here during the downturn of Sword and Shield into Scarlet and Violet, Evolving Skies, out of all the Sword and Shield sets, it was the set that continuously was going up. Now, it didn't go up exponentially. It's all stagnation and stuff. But over, all the other boxes, it continuously was going up during the market when it wasn't very, when the market wasn't very good in the beginning of Scarlet and Violet. It was, going up consistently, way more than any other Sword and Shield box. And it was selling way more than any other Sword and Shield box. It was always more liquid, always more sought after, even in a downturn market. Even a market when things weren't great, it was still selling and it kept appreciating. Whereas other boxes, Vivid Voltage, Darkness Ablaze, Battle Styles, those boxes really did nothing. Really. And they weren't selling that much comparatively to Evolving Skies. Because Evolving Skies, it's since release been always very popular. It's always been talked about. It's always had high value, high chase, popularity around the set. And therefore, in the downturn market, even coming off of 2021, during that bull market, it still was popular. It still sold. It really never ever saw a decline. Now, looking at this example of a very good set, very popular set, investing into something like that, let's look at a more modern example, Prismatic Evolutions. Now, I'm not gonna say Prismatic Evolutions is the exact same set as Evolving Skies, but the principle is the same here. Prismatic Evolutions. What does it have? Very sought after cards, right? The Evolutions has high value, right? High value. It's the total set value is like $5,000. The Umbreon EX and the PSA 10 is over $4,000. It's it's very sought after, high demand, high chase. It has all the components, just like Evolving Skies, and therefore, I believe it'll be very similar. Where when inevitably we see a downturn in the market, right? It's gonna hold up better than other sets, just like Evolving Skies did. Now, I'm not saying it's going to grow the same as Evolving Skies. I'm not going to say it's going to, do the exact same things as Evolving Skies, but the principle of it being a very high demand set, being a very, valuable, set, that when the market cools down, this product, this set will still be in enough demand where prices will likely not decline as much as other products because of its high demand and sales volume, liquidity. It's going to be a lot greater. And if you need in the event to sell something, you can more likely get close to market value for it, selling it pretty quickly. And I truly believe this is one of the things that some people don't think about when they're trying to invest into these niche products, into these sets that are not as popular, is when it comes time for this market to see a downturn. You are probably not going to be happy if you have hundreds of Battle Styles booster boxes, when you have hundreds of Shrouded Fable ETBs, and you need to sell something. I don't think you're going to be very happy when you find out that, wow, even though it's worth this much in a downturn market, if I have to sell large amounts of this stuff, no one's going to buy this out market. No one's going to do that. But maybe with Prismatic, maybe people will pay a large percentage more comparatively to, let's say, Shrouded Fable. And like I said, this is where, people, I feel like really, especially new people, got to understand this, because some people have never seen a downturn market, guys. It is still possible to sell everything in a downturn market. Everything does sell at a certain price, but to get close to market, to get, faster, higher liquidity, it really, really, really is important. You invest into things that are, in high demand, already show that, it's, more sought after, more popular. And for example, for Scarlet and Violet, that's Prismatic Evolutions. With Sword and Shield, that's Evolving Skies. So I know people will go out there and say, you can't predict the future. How do you know it's going to always be like this? And there's validity to that, right? And that's why people say, oh, just diversify. But generally, when you look at history with Pokemon, I know there's some sets that have been some outliers, but generally the sets that were most popular at release and have high value, usually those sets just continue to outperform. Evolving Skies is an example. I truly believe Prismatic Evolutions is an example. I don't think there's this need to try to look somewhere else, look at some niche things like, oh, maybe like, Shroud of Fable, maybe it's $85, maybe, it's really undervalued because it's $85, is this old, it's probably not gonna get reprinted. I feel like there's no need to do that. It's really as simple as, looking at a box, looking at a set that's high demand, has high value, and that's a recipe for success, even in a downturn market. I truly believe it's that simple, and that's why you don't see me buying Shrouded Fable. You don't see me buying, other sets like, what else can I say? Maybe Stellar Crown or Scarlet and Violet base. I don't think there's this need to go all out and do all these extra things. I really think it's very simple investing into high value, high demand sets where even in a downturn market, you will be okay, because people, whatever demand is in the market, they will still want to have that product and chase those cards. And that's just my philosophy with investing. And that's the things I think about when I'm investing is, okay, even in a downturn market, I know this product being such high demand when the bull market is here, that even when the market sees a downturn, there's going to be enough demand where I'm going to be okay if I need to sell. And that's what I think about when I invest. I don't think about, okay, all these other niche things, oh, maybe it's undervalued, because these things, even though they're selling okay right now, when the time comes when the market sees a downturn, how many people are going to be buying Shrouded Fable compared to Prismatic Evolutions? You tell me. So that's all I want to say in this video. I know the title is maybe a little bit misleading, but I don't know what else way to put it. But I think maybe you guys get the point in this video. I truly believe what you invest into and the liquidity really, really matters, especially when the market sees a downturn and things are not selling as easily. So that's all I want to talk about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.